Here's one that I've heard a lot from people. People say, point to oil industries depend on radiometric dating being reliable to find oil deposits and drill for oil. What do they mean by that? And is this true? Or because it's kind of hard for me to find out why they would be able to rely on the
It,
reliability of
it's it,
radiometric dating.
it's not true at all. It's not true at all. It's absolutely false. I always remember when I was doing my PhD studies, a professor came from the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg, and he said to me, "There's a parable, an African parable. If you want to find elephants, you go to elephant country." He said, "If you want to find gold deposits, you go to gold country." How do we explore for gold deposits? Well, we go to country rocks that we know from known ore deposits, known mines. What are the host rocks? Well, let's go and look for host rocks that are similar somewhere else, and let's test them for gold. Let's drill them for gold, and we find that's the case. I mean, a very classic example is an Australian geologist went to Michigan and looked at the copper deposits in Michigan, and he studied them, and he found they were associated with basalts. He came back to Australia, and he did gravity and magnetic surveys, which detected basalts 400 meters, 1,000 feet down. They put a drill hole down. The first drill hole went straight through copper ore in basalt because he went from the known and used the. So for example, you explore for uranium. Okay, I used to get dropped by helicopter into stream beds. We collect stream sediment samples and analyze them for a whole suite of elements, because we know if there's an ore body nearby, it's going to have a higher concentration of those elements in the soil. It's going to get washed into the stream, and so we'll detect. That's how we discover diamond deposits. We look for the minerals that are shed from the host rock of a diamond deposit, and it's nothing to do with the age. The oil geologists will go to a sedimentary basin where there's layers of stacked pancake of sediment layers, and they'll look for samples of fossilized wood. And if the wood is carbonized, they'll take a polished surface, and reflect light off it. And if the light reflectance is a certain value, they know that the wood got to the point where the saps and waxes and resins and saps got boiled out to form the oil. And they call it the oil generation window. And so they know that oil has been generated in that sedimentary basin, so they'll know to go and explore in it. It has nothing to do with the age at all.
Why do they say that, do you think?
Sorry, why do they say that? Because they're trying to prove they want the millions of years, because the millions of years means that everything's evolved, which rules out a creator, which means there's a God that we're answerable to because we've sinned against him. It's a spiritual issue. It's not a scientific issue. You don't need to know the age of a rock to determine whether oil has been generated from that rock or it's yet to be generated. I mean, we know that the oil generation window, and if a sedimentary rock has passed through that window because of the reflectance of the organic material in it, then you can go and drill in there. And then you go and look for, the oil's migrated out of the source rock. So then you go and look for places where the oil might have pooled, traps, and then you drill into those, and that's where you find the oil. It's not rocket science, and it has nothing to do with it's nothing to do with the age of the rocks.
It's literally not rocket science.
No, and it's the same. You do soil surveys to find. So, for example, some gold deposits are hosted by rock with magnetic minerals in it. So you do an airborne survey to find higher levels of magnetic rock, and then you'll go in that area and you look at the soils to analyze for gold. And if you find elevated gold content with a magnetic high, then you drill, because there might be a gold deposit that's hosted by magnetic rock. I mean, that's nothing to do with the age of the rock at all.
Tim Clary, he actually worked for these oil companies going all over the world.
Correct.
Um,
Correct.
so you guys have actually worked with the oil business and that sort of thing, and radiometric dating has zero to do with whether.
No, no,
So,
no.
uh,
When I was working for leading mining companies in Australia. They're now international giants, and we were in I was in their exploration teams. I was doing research for them on exploration methods. We never did a radiometric date of a rock. We're always looking at the types of rocks. We're looking at the chemical analyses. We're looking at soils. We're looking at geophysical properties. We were doing airborne surveys. We were doing soil sediment sampling. We're doing stream sediment sampling. We're actually doing real science, collecting samples and sending them to the lab. Where we got elevated values and anomalies matched, we knew that we could drill them, and then we actually drilled to find out whether there was oil or coal or gold or copper, etc. there.